during this time, you also had a whirlwind relationship with Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
And this was also at like the peak of the success. And this was must have been just like, and she was coming up, she was on the rise. And
Yeah, it was funny because she wasn't like a household name yet.
Yes.
I didn't really know who she was when I met her. I was introduced to her and they're like, this is Paris Hilton. I'm like, who?
Yeah.
I have no idea who that is. But we both were really young and just liked to party and have fun. And I don't know, we just had a really good time. I mean, the thing about it was I was on tour so much. So it's not like I was at home and we had this relationship where we're seeing each other every day. It was like I came to LA for a couple days to do some work and we would hang out and then I'd be gone on tour. And as time went on, after a couple months of that, it was like, do you want to come with me? Do you want to come on the tour? And so she would come out with us for a week or something like that. And then as it progressed, she started coming to places like, she came over to England and stuff like that, and to Canada. And the whole thing was about 6 months long, but if you add up all the days we were together, it's probably like 3 weeks.
yeah, right. But it was an intense 3
Yeah.
weeks. There was this one story that you shared that involved Scott Weiland of Stone Temple Pilots.
Yes.
You were at like this house party. Please tell me this, because I read that one and I was like, okay, this is iconic.
One of like the last few times I hung out with Paris, it was the night before I was supposed to go on a Canadian tour, and I was in LA, and instead of going back home to the tour, instead of going to the tour the night before it started, I thought, I'm going to fly in the day of the show because I want to hang out and stay in LA, which is a really bad move. It's a really cocky move because if there's any problem with your travel, then there's a chance you could miss the show.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? Let's not party though tonight. Let's just like have a nice night. We'll watch a movie or something like that. And then, of course, you're in
Famous
LA.
last words.
Yeah, and somebody's, Paris says, oh, my friend's having a party in the hills. Like, do we want to go? And I was like, I don't know, maybe one drink?
We'll stop by.
We'll just have one drink, like that ever happens.
No. In fact, when you say that, that's when it's the most wild night.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course, right? So
Yeah.
I literally went there thinking I'm going to have one drink, hang out, see some friends, and then I'm going to go to the airport. Because I thought, oh yeah, it'll be perfect. I have like a 6 a.m. flight. I got to be at the airport at like 4 a.m. So I'll leave at 3.
Perfect.
Perfect. So
Makes sense.
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
So we go and we're partying and partying. And then I kind of look at the time. I go, I got to leave. I got to go to the airport. And I try to call a cab. And I'm up in the hills. There's no service. I can't do anything. I'm like, I'm going to miss this flight. So quickly, I'm like, okay, I'm going to call my tour manager, tell him, hey, I'm not making the show. Cancel the show.
Yes.
No big deal. Like, let's move it.
I was going to move the show.
It's very young rock star thing.
Yes.
Like, hey, that show we're supposed to do tomorrow? Just move it.
Yeah.
I got a party here in LA. So I leave this message for my tour manager. I think, okay, cool. I can go back to the party now. It's all handled.
It's all handled, yeah.
So I go back to the party thinking, I got a whole day now. And so I find myself in this back room. It's like a bedroom, and it's myself, Paris, Byron, the drummer of Pennywise, and this guy who I don't know. And it's a round table just like this. We're all sitting around chatting, and everyone's doing blow, and I'm having this great time. And I'm talking to this one guy who I don't know, but he's telling me about how his band just got signed, and he's really excited for their new music. And I'm thinking, man, that's so great. Like, I'm so happy for you. Like, I'm wishing this guy all the success in the world. And
like he's a new artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's his first time. Right.
Yeah, and because I don't know I don't recognize him whatsoever. And he just kind of drops the name like, oh yeah, man, having Slash in the band is just so great. He's such a great guitar player. I'm like, excuse me, Slash? Like, what are you talking about? And then he says Duff, and I'm like, and then I kind of start looking, I'm like, you're Scott Weiland. And it was before we'd ever seen any photos of Velvet Revolver or like heard about this supergroup that was starting. But like he said, they had just gotten a record deal. Like, they weren't out yet, and they were working on new music. I go, oh my God, this is Scott Weiland. But he doesn't look anything like Scott Weiland that I remember. He didn't have the red hair, the goatee, or anything like that I remembered. And so we're hanging out, and all of a sudden somebody bursts in the door and it's like, the cops are here. They're busting people for drugs. And we're like, holy shit. And like, Paris takes off all the blow from the table. It's like in her purse, and we're like, what do we do? We're all panicking. Everyone's high. For once, you're already paranoid. And we're like, the hell do we do? And I come with this, what I think is a brilliant idea.
Genius.
I go, we're in this bedroom, like, what if we all just like jump in this bed and get under the covers and pretend we're having an orgy. So when the cops come in, they're gonna be like, "Oh shit, there's like weird orgy going on. Let's just leave." So we all get under the covers. The 4 of us are in this bed. Scott Weiland's right beside me. All of a sudden, he starts like rubbing my chest like this, and he's like kind of like taking off his belt. I'm like, "What? Whoa, what are you doing?" He's like, "I thought you said we were having an orgy."
You said pretend.
No,
pretend.
I said pretend we're having an orgy. Oh, okay. And we also just kind of laughing, and then we're like telling some stories. The 4 of us, like adults, like we're like teenagers telling these like stories of whatever. We're all just giggling under these covers for like 15 minutes, and we're like, I don't think there's cops here. And then we kind of hear like music in the background, and we're like, pull the covers over, and we're like, open up the door, and somebody goes out, and they're like, oh yeah, it was a noise complaint. They just came and they left. And we're like, oh. Okay, well, let's get back to our party then.
But no orgy happened, though.
No orgy.
But that is a great idea.
It was close.
I'm with you, though. It's a genius idea. Yeah.